Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe. I'm your host with the most, as always, Francois878. And really quick, we're going to take a look at the the Secura Lecta, which I realize this video is a couple of weeks late, but I did want to do a video on this weapon because I'm very torn on this weapon. As a min-maxer, as someone who enjoys amazing weapons and somebody who enjoys weapons that get the job done as efficiently as possible, this weapon is a massive disappointment compared to the other Syndicate melees. The passive for the Secura Lecta is trash. However, the part of me that cares about the lore and the story and how all of the weapons and the gear kind of work together in this game, that part of me is really excited about this weapon and am really happy they did it the way they did. Now, the passive for this weapon is any enemies killed by the Secura Lecta that also drop credits as a loot drop will have that credit drop doubled. So you earn double credits, basically. It's objectively a terrible passive because no one is going to try and farm credits from killing enemies. If you want to farm credits, you just play some Dark Sector missions. That's all it is. It's as easy as that. But it's just the chances of you getting a credit drop, and it's just not efficient. It's just not the most efficient way to do it. However, the whole lore aspect with Parent Sequence being the Corpus, who are all about money and trading and greed, it really has a good flavor to it in that aspect, and it really fits the Parent Sequence narrative really well. So it's kind of a hard... I'm very torn on it, because objectively it's not going to help me in-game, but also the flavor is so good. Now, looking at the base stats for the Secura Lecta versus the vanilla, you're going to be dealing a lot more damage in pure electricity, no physical damage for the Lecta, which is nice for combining elemental mods. The attack speed is also a little bit faster as well, but status chance, crit chance, and crit damage are all the same. So the Secura Lecta is objectively better base stats wise. Unfortunately, it's still not good enough to really run a meta crit build right now, and that kind of hurts its usefulness overall, especially because of the way whips are in this game. The Adarex is objectively one of the best, if not the best, crit build weapon. So the Secura Lecta definitely has a lot of competition. Now, these are some quick builds. I just kind of played around with it, nothing too serious. I went with primed pressure point and primed reach, obviously for more damage and a longer reach. Life strike, because life regen is amazing. Focus energy, because this weapon deals primarily electric damage. That just gives me a little bit more base damage, as well as alleviates the life strike energy cost for channeling. As far as the elemental mods go, I went with two 90% damage mods and two 60% elemental damage, 60% status chance mods, because this weapon does have a decent status chance. So if you want to play into that, you can. If you want to run all four status chance mods to really bring out as much status chance as possible. You could also put Lasting Sting on there. And this weapon is a weapon to do that with, because with physical status effects actually have a much higher chance to proc than elemental status chance, and because this weapon does not deal any physical status procs / impact and puncture, you'll have a much easier time getting the radiation proc or the corrosive proc, whichever one you're running at the time, viral proc, whatever. So, it's not a meta breaking weapon, that's for sure. You can do a couple of different things with it. I've always really liked pure elemental weapons, and this is definitely one of them. There's a number of different ways you can kind of build this weapon to bring out the best of it. The problem is the crit chance is abysmal, and so you can't really incorporate the meta body count blood rush build with this weapon without getting like a 2,000 hit combo for it to be really really effective. So overall it's not a great weapon. Like I said, it's definitely the winner of my worst syndicate melee weapon for this time around, and that's just based on its objective usefulness. The double credit drop just isn't going to be as effective as other things. They could have given us 100% status duration, or maybe something like a timed thing. If you like the infested type weapons, when you hit a status effect with this weapon, it increases the attack speed, or after 3 kills, something, I don't know, something could have happened with the Secura Lecta, a different passive that may not have been as lore focused and as lore appropriate, but would have really been a much better passive for this weapon. But as it stands right now, it's just kind of sucks. I hope when the index comes out that they revisit this Corpus weapon and give it a little bit of a better passive, give it a little bit of love, because it needs it. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Let me know in the comment section if you think my builds are trash and you think I should stop making YouTube videos. And just let me know. Until next time, I've been your host with the most, as always, Francois878, signing off.